Hi, I'm Madeline Waitman, co-founder of The Work Crowd. This is our quickfire industry insights. Today we're interviewing Richard Fogg, CEO of the CCGroup and Aperture Insights. So Richard, you've been working for over 15 years in the tech B2B PR industry.
True, for my sins.
In that time, you've probably worked with some of the world's largest tech companies.
The smaller ones are more fun and they tend to listen.
Very good point. So, with that in mind, do tell us, what was that defining moment in your career that helped you get to where you are today?
So I've had a pretty unusual career for a PR guy in that I've demonstrated a level of loyalty that's quite unusual.
Okay.
Or maybe it's a lack of imagination, I'm not sure.
I'm sure that's not the case.
I've been at CCGroup for nearly 18 years, so 18 years in the summer. And I think that if there's one sort of pivotal moment, it was when I got an outside mentor.
Okay.
And I think that was important because I started to think of my career in a more strategic way. So things like goals and objectives, and
yes.
I hesitate to use the word strategies, but strategies in terms of what are you going to do, what are you not going to do, what does your life look like, what does your work life look like, what does your family look like, and then once you've got that, you can start to make decisions around the things you do and the things you don't. So, for example, work-life balance is really important to me, and so yes, I could have gone and joined one of the big network agencies, probably done okay, but then my life wouldn't have been my own. So by
and
taking
you're still
over,
happy today.
well, exactly, we do. You take over an independent, you know, you're marching to your own
Yes.
tune, and you've got much more flexibility in what you choose to do day to day, and how you sort of handle your career and your own personal development.
Brilliant. So, you're obviously working very much at the custom thrust of it, and the tech PR industry is constantly evolving. What do you see as the big three trends to hit the industry?
I don't. You can think of it from a tech PR perspective, or you can think of it from a sort of more horizontal PR perspective. And I don't think the differences and the challenges differ particularly significantly between the tech PR industry and
yes.
the PR industry. That probably wasn't the case a few years ago, but certainly now it's a more homogeneous challenge set. I'm very tempted to say that sort of, you know, the biggest challenge that we all face is that of customer insights, but there again, I just set up a customer insight business, and so that would be somewhat trite. I think you think of it in three ways. Number one is recruitment. How do you find the best people to do the job? Because a PR agency is nothing at the end of the day than a collection of people. I'd say the second challenge is around organisational structures.
Right.
And how do we set ourselves up for a different sort of, not a different world, but something that's changing very quickly.
Yes.
The rate of change in PR is incredibly fast. The different skill sets that we've needed to onboard in terms of content marketing, social, analyst relations and things like that has been quite significant in the last few years, and that's before we get into analytics, data, behavioural psychology and all of that good stuff, which is where I think us and the rest of the industry is starting to pivot and focus, because you can just deliver better campaigns.
Yes.
And then I'd say sort of finally, it's around efficiency. You know, how do you make sure that you can offer a great service to clients, but one that is sort of profitable? How do we start to sort of take the average agency profitability from 11–12% into the 20s, where you'd find yourself if you happen to be a digital marketing agency or something like that? So if you just look for the commonality in those three things, it's resourcing.
Yes.
That's the biggest challenge that we face as an industry.
And so how do you foresee that you can overcome that?
Well, there's definitely no single answer. I think on the recruitment side of things, we need to be a lot more creative in the way that we think of careers and the way that we think of attracting the best talent. And so there's no end of people out there talking about the importance of diversity, not just in gender and ethnicity, but also in terms of skill set. And I think that's something that we need to embrace in a very different way. I wouldn't say that we're perfect by any stretch of the imagination, and we've been spending a lot of time with recruitment partners trying to sort of understand how best we go about doing that, because I wouldn't say anyone's brilliant at it. The second thing around organisational structures and efficiency is really around things we've talked about in the past in terms of how do we make the model more flexible.
Yes.
I don't need a designer full time.
No.
I wouldn't be able to feed them. but I need a designer 1.5 days a week. Same can be said for lots of different roles. So I think something like an opportunity like the Work Crowd provides, once we've understood fully how to use it and structure our own businesses in such a way that we're more porous,
Yes.
and can work on client campaigns in different ways, I think it's going to be really important. And then the third piece is around embracing technology and thinking about automation and augmentation. How do we stop the first couple of years of a Bright Young Things career being sort of very admin oriented? You know, there's
Yes.
a million things out there to make our lives easier. Some of the things we're using, some of the things we're not. But if you look at the main difference between PR and lots of the other marketing functions, it really comes down to the lack of repeatable process and the automation of those processes. So that's something that we're looking into quite heavily and are committing quite a lot of spend to in the next year, because I think if you can address the efficiency point, you can spend more time doing great work for your clients. You can make yourself a better place to work, and you can start to experiment with the more sort of flexible working models that are coming into that.
Well, I couldn't agree more. And thank you, Richard.
That's
It's been very helpful and very insightful. I'm sure will be of great value to others.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.